Okay, so this is my latest sort of a trial at doing the rocket stove. I've actually got a very small, one of these small bottles. It's only a half size, and I've just put a hole in the top there, and obviously there's the hole there where the firebox is, and it goes in there and burns up through the middle here. So what I'm intending to do is use a bigger fire extinguisher on the outside and one on the inside, like that. Now the holes are to let the air go in through here into these other holes on the smaller fire extinguisher and allow enough oxygen into here to complete the burn. Now the other intention is I've put the holes at the top with the idea that the air going in here and the top will keep this more cool. And then I have another gas bottle, which is just a standard old gas bottle, which I've just cut the bottom off and also put another hole in there. Now my intention is to sit this gas bottle on top of that one. So I will carry on and install it, and we'll see what it looks like. As I was saying, I've actually set this one in here. My intention is to weld it just on the handles on either side there, just to secure it in place. So actually, on thinking about it, I probably don't need to weld it on either side, because when I put this other one on top, it'll compress and it will stay central in there. It's not going to move. Okay, let's see what it does. Oh, what do you know? I was right. It is going to be compressed into there. It's not going to shift. And all I've got to do now is put this one here down through the center. My intention was to put a dot there, and a dot there, and a dot there on the weld. And that will stop it dropping right through into the burn chamber down below. Okay, let's see how we go. So all I've got to do really is just to tack weld around the sides here in 3 places, just to hold it secure, and we might be running. So as you can see, I've got a couple of spots on the outside there. The rod was a bit hot there, it just topped through the top, but it's given me something which is bigger than that hole in there, and it'll stop it dropping through. And I've tacked these in 3 places. I believe that's all it needs, because they'll be strong enough, because that is not going to heat up to the extent where it's going to affect the welding. So what's actually happened here is I've left the paper on the outside, and my hole in there is too neat for this here, and it's actually binding on the paper, as you can see. So what I'll do is I'll grind that paper off and we'll continue. Well, I never realized that this paper was so hard to take off. It's a sort of a plastic coated stuff, and I used a sander on it, one of these discs, and all it did was make it go into gluey lumps. So I found the easiest way to take it off in the end was actually to use a knife. So we'll see how this works. Well, I've got it in, and that was the son of an unmarried mother to get in there. I should have taken the paint off as well, because it is really a very tight hole. Now what I forgot to mention was that right down on the inside here, I don't know if you can see it, see if I can get some light on it shortly. You probably wondered why I left a taper on it. That was left on so that it would line up with the bottom hole without me having too much difficulty, and it actually worked very well. You can probably see right to the very bottom there, if I can find out where my lens is, and you'll probably see a bit of a taper, and that was just to line up with the hole on the bottom. So my next job here is to put a couple of bars across there to hold the pot, and to put a hole in here to let the smoke get out when the pot sits on there and it's far too big. So we'll get back to it when I've got that stage done. Actually, you can see the taper in there now, with the sunlight going in there. You probably see it's tapered in a wee bit, and that makes it line up in the hole on the inside. Well, there we are, folks. That's the completed unit. Now I've put a piece down around here just to give them something to aim for going in there. It's still quite warm because I've just welded it, and I have welded this in 3 places around there, so it's not going to move. There's my arms on the top there. They don't look parallel, probably because they're not, but the idea is you put a pot on here, it's hot too, covers the whole of the area in here, and it vents out through the exhaust I've put on here. Now when I put the 4-inch pipe on here, it's 4 inches long by 4 inches square. I cut this corner piece off, and that's the bit that's down there. So now I've got to go and fire it up and see how she goes. Now I've got the stove running, and it's just starting to get up to working temperature and things like that. There's a wee bit of smoke still because it still hasn't got quite hot enough, but there is quite a good flame was coming up there. So I've only just put some extra wood on it, so that's why it's still smoking. But you can see the flames starting to come up through there, and that's because it's getting extra oxygen from those holes and things. Now also, I didn't weld that pipe in the middle because the idea is that if it burns out, you can take that one out and stick another one in its place. That's my theory. I'm not sure if you can see it, but there's a bit of smoke coming off from the outside, which is the paint burning off. But here we have the flame going quite well. As you can see, it's running up the tube nicely, and that should definitely work if you want to cook something. Look at that, very good one. Now I set a plate on top of it there to simulate the fact that it's got a pot on it, and as you can see from there, hopefully, the flames, there we are, they're coming all the way up, and it's burning not too bad.